The big meeting room on Nexus Prime was filled with angry voices. Representatives from 12 different alien species sat around a huge table, all of them upset about the same thing. For 3,000 years they had kept humans locked away, in a small part of the galaxy. Now something had changed. Admiral Kang Deho stood in front of all these angry aliens. His old weathered face showed no fear, even though he was surrounded by creatures that wanted to destroy his entire species. Next to him stood Dr. Park Minji, Earth's top diplomat for dealing with aliens. She was trying not to smile, but Kang could see the amusement in her eyes. The Velthari ambassador slammed his crystal-like hand on the table. His name was Counselor Zephon, and he was furious. "The humans have broken the rules," he shouted, his voice coming through a translator machine. "We saw their colony ships outside the area where they are supposed to stay. The peace treaty is finished." Other aliens around the table started making angry sounds. Some clicked their claws, others buzzed with their wings, and a few made low growling noises. They had all been afraid of humans for a very long time, and now they thought the humans were trying to spread across the galaxy again. Dr. Park Minji stepped forward. "Counselor Zephon," she said in a calm voice, "I think there might be some confusion here. Maybe we should talk about this problem and find a solution that works for everyone." But the aliens did not want to listen. A mechanical voice interrupted her. It belonged to Drone Prime Kellex, a representative of the hive mind species. "No more talking," the machine voice said. "Humans spread like a disease. We tried to keep them locked up, but it did not work. We declare war. We will destroy all humans." The other aliens began nodding and making sounds of agreement. They started talking about bringing their war fleets together to attack human space. Admiral Kang listened to all of this, but he did not look worried. In fact, when Dr. Park whispered something in his ear, he actually started to chuckle. The sound of human laughter in that room full of angry aliens was very strange. Several of the alien representatives stopped talking and stared at the two humans. They could not understand why these people were amused when they had just been told they were going to die. Within a few hours, the alien declaration of war was being broadcast to every planet in the galaxy. The message was simple. Humans had broken the peace treaty and now they would be destroyed. It would be, all human colonies had 72 standard hours to surrender, or the alien fleets would attack. On Earth, deep underground beneath the city of Seoul, General Lee Ji-won was watching this broadcast with her military staff. The underground command center was huge, filled with screens and computers and hundreds of people working. When the alien ultimatum finished playing, everyone in the room became very quiet. Then General Lee started to laugh. It began as a small chuckle, but then it grew louder and louder. Soon she was laughing so hard that tears came to her eyes. Her laughter was so infectious that other people in the room started laughing too. Within minutes, the entire command center was filled with the sound of humans laughing at the alien threat. Colonel Yoon Taemin, one of General Lee's top officers, was wiping tears from his eyes. "Ma'am," he said, "should we start moving our people to safe places? Should we prepare for evacuation?" General Lee looked at him with a big smile on her face. "Evacuation?" she said. "Colonel, why would we evacuate? Send a message to all human colonies throughout the galaxy. Tell them the waiting is finally over. It's time to show these aliens what we have really been doing for the last 3,000 years. Colonel Yoon looked confused. "Ma'am, what do you mean? We've been stuck in our small area of space just like the treaty required." General Lee's smile grew even bigger. "Oh, my dear Colonel, we've been following the letter of that treaty very carefully. But perhaps we've been a bit creative with how we interpreted some of the rules." She turned to the main screen and pressed some buttons. Star charts appeared, showing the galaxy with human space marked as a small area near one edge. But then she pressed more buttons and the map changed. New markers appeared throughout the galaxy, thousands of them. "You see," General Lee explained, "the treaty said we could not expand beyond our designated systems. It never said anything about exploring the rest of the galaxy. It never said we could not establish research stations or set up trading posts, or make friends with people on other worlds." The officers in the room started to understand what she was saying, And their laughter grew louder. For 3,000 years, while the aliens thought they had humans trapped, humans had actually been spreading throughout the entire galaxy in secret. "Ma'am," asked Captain Shin Dongwook, the communications officer, "should I contact our people? On the alien homeworlds?" "Yes," General Lee said. "Tell them it's time to come out of hiding, and make sure they record the aliens' reactions. I want to see their faces when they realize what has been happening." Meanwhile, in space near the edge of human territory, Fleet Commander Cho Hyunwoo was preparing his ships for the coming battle. His flagship was called the Busan's Pride, and it was one of 300 human vessels that the aliens would soon face. Commander Cho was not worried about the battle. He was actually excited. "Communications," he called to his crew. "Open a channel to Earth Command." General Lee's face appeared on his screen. "Commander Cho," she said, "I trust you're ready for our visitors." "Yes, ma'am," Commander Cho replied with a grin. "They're bringing about 50,000 ships. Should I be insulted that they think they need so many?" Now, Commander," General Lee said, her eyes twinkling with amusement. "Remember, they don't know about the expansion protocol yet. Let's not spoil the surprise too early. Let them come to us, and then we'll show them what humans have learned to do when we put our minds to it." The alien fleets were already moving, confident that their overwhelming numbers would easily crush the small human force. They had no idea that their 3,000-year-old plan to contain humanity had failed completely. They also had no idea that humans had spent those 3,000 years preparing for exactly this moment. The war was about to begin, but only one side knew how. It was really going to end. The alien war fleet was the biggest anyone had ever seen. 50,000 ships from 12 different species were moving toward human space like a giant wave of death. Fleet Admiral Vexton of the Corallian Empire stood on the bridge of his massive flagship, watching as all these ships formed into attack formation. The Admiral was proud of this fleet. Every species had sent their best ships and their most experienced crews. They had enough firepower to destroy entire solar systems. The humans would surrender immediately when they saw this mighty force coming for them. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "our sensors have found the human defensive positions." "Good," Admiral Vextan said. "How many ships do they have?" "How strong are their defenses?" The tactical officer looked at his instruments again as if he could not believe what he was seeing. "Sir, we are detecting only 300 human vessels. They appear to be laughing at us." Admiral Vexton turned to stare at his officer. "Laughing? What do you mean, laughing?" "Sir, they are broadcasting on all communication frequencies. All we can hear is human laughter. Not scared laughter, sir. They sound like they are having fun." This was true. Across all the radio channels, human voices could be heard laughing and joking. On the bridge of the human flagship, Busan's Pride, Fleet Commander Cho Hyunwoo was talking to Earth Command while chuckling at something his crew had said. "General Lee," Commander Cho reported over the radio, "they brought their entire galaxy's military, all 50,000 ships. Should I be insulted that they think they need so many ships to fight 300 of ours?" General Lee's amused voice came back through the speaker. Now, Commander. Remember, they don't know about the expansion protocol yet. Let's not spoil the surprise too early. Let them waste some ammunition first." While the main fleets were facing each other, something else was happening throughout alien space. Captain Kim Soo-young stood on the bridge of her stealth ship, watching as dozens of similar ships became visible around the Velthari homeworld. The aliens had always believed that humans were trapped in their small area of space. They were very, very wrong. For 3,000 years, humans had not been sitting quietly in their corner of the galaxy. They had been busy, using technology that the aliens thought was impossible. Humans had been secretly traveling to star systems all over the galaxy. They did not use big colony ships that could be easily detected. Instead, they used small, quiet ships that could sneak past alien sensors and set up hidden bases. Captain Kim, her communications officer Lieutenant Bae Jung-ho reported, "We are getting similar reports from Alpha Team through Zulu Team. All alien homeworlds are surrounded by our ships." Captain Kim smiled. "Excellent. Send the message to Earth Command. Phase 2 is ready to begin." Back at the main battle, the alien fleet was getting ready to attack. Admiral Vexton was confident that his overwhelming number of ships would easily destroy the small human force. He gave the order, and thousands of alien ships began firing their most powerful weapons: antimatter torpedoes, plasma beams, and fusion. Missiles streaked through space toward the human ships. It was enough firepower to destroy entire planets. The aliens expected to see the human fleet disappear in a ball of fire and radiation. Instead, something impossible happened. All of the alien weapons hit energy shields around the human ships and simply bounced off. Not a single human vessel was damaged. Dr. Huang Minho was aboard a human research ship that looked like an old cargo vessel. He was monitoring the aliens' radio communications and laughing at what he heard. "They're trying to figure out how our shields work," he told his team. "Should I tell them that we took their own shield technology and made it about 300% better?" Commander Nayajin, who was working at the ship's weapons station, shook her head. "Not yet. Let them waste a few more shots first. Their confusion is entertaining." The alien fleet kept firing more and more weapons at the human ships. Nothing worked. Their most advanced missiles exploded harmlessly against human shields. Their most powerful energy beams were absorbed or reflected back at them. And through it all, the humans kept laughing. Admiral Vexton's bridge crew was beginning to panic. This was not how battles were supposed to work. "Sir," his communications officer said with a shaking voice, "the humans are broadcasting something called comedy shows on our tactical frequencies." "Comedy shows?" Admiral Vexton repeated. "Yes, sir. They appear to be entertainment programs, designed to make people laugh. They are treating this battle like a joke." Admiral Vexton looked at the tactical display. His fleet had been firing for 6 hours and had achieved absolutely nothing. The human ships were not even trying to fight back yet. They were just sitting there, protected by impossible shields, broadcasting funny TV shows to the alien fleet. "What kind of species does this?" he asked nobody in particular. His tactical officer had more bad news. "Sir, we are also receiving reports from our scouts throughout the galaxy. There are human ships everywhere. Not just a few ships. Thousands of them. They're around every one of our homeworlds." Admiral Vexton felt something he had never experienced before in his long military career: complete confusion. The humans were supposed to be trapped in a small area of space. How could they have ships throughout the entire galaxy? On another, alien ship, Drone Prime Kellex of the Hive Mind was having similar problems. The Hive Mind was supposed to be perfect at calculating probabilities and predicting enemy behavior. But nothing the humans were doing made sense according to any military strategy the Hive Mind had ever studied. "Analysis complete," Drone Prime Kellex announced to its crew. "Human behavior does not match any known pattern. Their shields should not exist. Their ships should not be in positions we are detecting. Conclusion: humans are cheating somehow." The alien commanders were starting to realize that something was very wrong with their understanding of the situation. They had come here expecting to fight a small, trapped human force. Instead, they were facing enemies who seemed to have technology beyond anything in the galaxy, and who found the entire situation hilariously funny. Worst of all, the humans had not even started fighting back yet. The battle had been going on for 6 hours, and the aliens had accomplished exactly nothing except entertaining the humans. Admiral Kang Daeho, who was now aboard the human command ship Incheon Rising, decided it was time to move to the next part of their plan. "Open a communication channel to the alien fleet," he told his crew. When the connection was made, his old weathered face appeared on screens throughout the entire enemy armada. The aliens expected to see fear, desperation, or at least worry on the human commander's face. Instead, Admiral Kang was wiping tears of laughter from his eyes. "Attention alien forces," he began, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had been in command for many decades. "I want to thank you for this very entertaining afternoon. However, I think it's time we talked about some misunderstandings you seem to have about humanity's current situation in this galaxy." On the Corallian flagship, Admiral Vexton leaned forward in his command chair. "What is this human talking about?" he asked his officers. Admiral Kang continued speaking, and his voice was friendly and amused. "You see, for the past 3,000 years, You have believed that you had us contained in 17 star systems. This was what we humans call a strategic deception on our part. He nodded to his communications officer, Captain Shin Dongwook, who began sending data to the alien fleet. New star charts appeared on their screens. These were not the familiar maps that showed human space as a small, contained area. These new charts made several alien commanders physically step backward in shock. As you can see, Admiral Kang explained cheerfully, humanity currently lives in about 40% of the galaxy. We have been your neighbors for quite a long time now. We have been growing vegetables in your backyards, making friends with your people, and borrowing your technology without asking permission. The alien fleet's communication networks exploded with panicked chatter. Commanders were shouting at each other, trying to understand how this was possible. On worlds throughout alien space, Major Lim Jae-hyun and his secret teams began broadcasting from the hearts of alien cities. The videos they sent showed human settlements that had been thriving on worlds the aliens thought were empty. They showed human research stations operating in star systems the aliens considered completely secure. They showed human shipyards producing vessels with technology that made the alien fleet look like old, broken toys. But the truly funny part, Admiral Kang continued, his smile getting even wider, is that we have been protecting you this entire time. Did you never wonder why the devourer swarms stopped attacking your colonies? Why the dark matter entities went away from your space? Why the rogue AI networks never managed to break into your computer systems? Commander Jeon Sulgi was monitoring alien communications from her intelligence ship. She reported something fascinating. Sir, their fleet command structure is starting to fall apart. The hive mind ships are arguing with themselves, and the Velthari admiral just fainted. Admiral Kang's expression became more serious. You see, dear neighbors, while you were comfortable staying in your safe territories, humanity was dealing with the real threats to everyone in this galaxy. We have been fighting wars that you did not even know were happening, against enemies that would have eaten you like snacks. He made a gesture, and new displays showed the alien fleet their true situation. They were not just surrounded by human ships. They were surrounded by human ships that had been secretly protecting them from horrible creatures that lived in the darkness between the stars. The displays showed battles that had happened in deep space, far from any alien worlds. Massive creatures made of dark energy that fed on entire planets. Ancient machines that had been sleeping since before the first stars were born. Swarm entities from other dimensions where the laws of physics worked differently. These are the real enemies, Admiral Kang explained. While you were worried about containing us, we were fighting things that could destroy this entire galaxy. We have been your shield against the darkness, and you never even knew it. More videos appeared on the alien screens. They showed human fleets engaging titanic monsters in the void between galaxies. Battles against entities so large that planets looked like tiny dots next to them. Wars against machine intelligences that had consumed entire galaxies in other parts of the universe. Dr. Park Minji appeared beside Admiral Kang on the transmission. Oh, and gentlemen, about that 72-hour ultimatum you gave us earlier. You might want to check on your homeworlds. Our response was immediate. On the Velthari homeworld, Governor Claxton was sitting in his office when human soldiers appeared. But these were not invaders. Captain Kim Soo-young and her team had been living on his world for decades, working as traders, diplomats, and even janitors. Now they were revealing their true identities. Governor Claxton, Captain Kim said politely, I need you to contact your fleet and tell them that your planet is completely safe. However, perhaps they should think about changing their current course of action. The governor's compound eyes focused on the human officer with a mixture of terror and confusion. You have been here all this time? He asked. Technical Sergeant Oh Jinwoo looked up from a control console that he was operating with casual expertise. Actually, we built this command center. Your people just moved in and assumed it was yours. We thought it was cute. Similar scenes were happening on 12 alien homeworlds. Human teams that had been living alongside alien populations for generations were suddenly revealing themselves. They had been disguised as ordinary civilians, but they were actually the galaxy's most advanced intelligence network. Back in space, The alien fleet was experiencing something that had never happened in their military history: complete confusion about what to do next. Admiral Vextan had been trying for hours to contact his homeworld, while his officers delivered increasingly impossible reports. "Sir," his tactical officer said with barely controlled panic, "our long-range sensors are detecting massive human fleet movements throughout the galaxy. They are everywhere. How can they be everywhere?" Fleet Commander Cho Hyun-woo decided to make things even more interesting. "Would you like to see what we have been building with all that time and borrowed technology?" he announced to the alien fleet. Space around the alien ships began to shimmer and change. More vessels began appearing. Not the few hundred ships the aliens had expected to fight, but thousands upon thousands. Sleek, advanced human ships that used improved versions of the best technology from every alien species, plus new inventions the aliens had never imagined. The alien fleet hung motionless in space, their commanders struggling to understand that their prisoners had actually been their protectors all along. On the Corallian homeworld of Thexara, Captain Kim Soo-young stood in the planet's main command center. She was surrounded by her special operations team and very confused alien administrators. The planetary defense system that was supposed to be impossible to break had actually been under human control for 50 years. "Governor Claxton," she said politely to the mantis-like alien leader, "I need you to call your fleet and explain that your planet is quite safe. But perhaps they should think about stopping their current attack." Governor Claxton's compound. Eyes stared at the human officer with terror and bewilderment. "You have been here all this time?" he asked in a shaking voice. "Oh, much longer than that," replied Technical Sergeant Oh Jin-woo, looking up from a control console that he was operating with easy skill. "We actually built this command center. Your people just moved in and thought it was yours. We thought it was adorable, so we let you keep using it." The same scenes were playing out on 12 alien homeworlds. Human teams that had been living alongside alien populations for generations were suddenly revealing themselves. They had been disguised as traders, diplomats, researchers, and even cleaning staff. Now everyone could see that they were actually the galaxy's most sophisticated spy network. Back in the Sol system, the alien fleet was experiencing something completely new in their military history: total strategic paralysis. Admiral Vextan had been trying for hours to contact his homeworld, while his intelligence officers kept bringing him reports that seemed impossible. "Sir," his tactical officer reported with barely controlled panic, "our long-range sensors are detecting massive human fleet movements. They are everywhere in the galaxy. How are they everywhere?" The answer came from Fleet Commander Cho Hyun-woo on the human flagship. His transmission interrupted all alien communications. "It gets even better," he announced with amusement. "Would you like to see what we have been building with all that time and borrowed technology?" The space around the alien fleet began to shimmer and change. Ships began appearing out of nowhere, not the few hundred vessels the aliens had expected to fight, but thousands upon thousands of them. These were sleek, advanced human ships that had taken the best technology from every alien species and improved it beyond recognition. Dr. Hwang Minho could not resist adding to the aliens' shock. "The funniest part is that every time you upgraded your security systems to keep us out, you actually gave us detailed instruction manuals. We have been helping with your security updates for centuries. Thanks for that, by the way." But the revelation that truly broke the alien commander's understanding of reality came from Admiral Lee Sun-hee, who commanded the human deep space exploration fleet. Her transmission showed footage from the edge of the galaxy, regions of space the aliens thought were completely unexplored. "While you were focused on your little territorial arguments," Admiral Lee explained calmly, "humanity has been exploring beyond this galaxy. We have made contact with 17 different civilizations in other galaxies. We have established trade routes to neighboring galaxies. And yes, we have been fighting wars against entities that think your entire species is nothing more than interesting bacteria." The footage she showed made several alien commanders physically sick. It displayed vast battlefields in the empty space between galaxies, where human fleets fought against creatures so large that entire star systems looked like tiny dots next to them. Ancient machine intelligences that had been sleeping since before the first stars formed. Swarm entities from dimensions where physics worked completely differently than in normal space. The videos showed human soldiers fighting on the surfaces of rogue planets that drifted in the void between galaxies. They showed human scientists studying the remains of civilizations so old that they had existed before the current universe began. They showed human diplomats negotiating with entities made of pure energy that communicated through manipulating gravity waves. These are the real threats to organic life in this universe, Admiral Lee continued. While you were playing politics with each other, we were out there fighting the things that want to consume everything that lives and breathes. We were protecting not just our own galaxy, but several others as well. The alien fleet commanders were beginning to understand the true scope of what humanity had been doing. They had not been contained at all. Instead, they had been secretly running a protection service for the entire known universe. General Li Jiwan's voice cut through the stunned silence of the alien fleet. She spoke with the authority of someone who had been fighting these cosmic wars for decades. So, gentlemen, let's discuss terms. You can surrender unconditionally and accept human leadership, which, to be honest, you have been living under for centuries anyway. Or we can continue this silly war, and you can try to explain to your people why you declared war on the species that has been keeping them alive. Admiral Vextan finally managed to speak. You are saying that everything we believed about the E situation was wrong? Not wrong, replied Admiral Kang Deho. Just incomplete. You knew that we were dangerous and unpredictable. You were right about that. What you did not understand was that we were dangerous to your enemies, not to you. We were unpredictable because we kept adapting to face new threats that you could not even imagine. Captain Shin Dongwook added more information to help the aliens. Understand. Your containment protocols actually helped us a lot. They gave us a good cover story while we established our real operations throughout the galaxy. Every time you checked to make sure we were staying in our designated area, you saw exactly what we wanted you to see. The alien commanders were starting to realize that their 3,000-year plan had not just failed. It had been turned into a tool that helped humanity accomplish their real goals. The humans had used the peace treaty as camouflage while they became the secret rulers and protectors of the entire galaxy. Commander Na Yejin, who was monitoring the psychological state of the alien crews, reported something interesting. Sir, their fleet morale is collapsing. Most of their ships are requesting permission to return home. Some of their crews are asking if they can surrender individually. Fleet Commander Cho Hyunwoo made the final offer. Here is what we are willing to do. You can all go home and tell your people that the containment protocols worked perfectly. Humanity never expanded beyond our designated systems. Technically, that is true. We never expanded. We just established a few million research stations, trading posts, diplomatic missions, and defense installations throughout the galaxy, but we never officially expanded our territory. The alien fleet found themselves facing a choice between humiliation and annihilation. Slowly, they began to realize that their pride and fear had led them into a trap that had been 3,000 years in the making. And in the darkness beyond the galaxy, ancient enemies that had been planning the slow destruction of organic life suddenly found their calculations completely wrong. The prey they had been stalking for millennia now had guardians, who fought back with laughter and innovation. 6 months after what human historians had started calling the Great Misunderstanding, the galaxy looked completely different. The Galactic Council chambers on Nexus Prime had been expanded to make room for human representatives, though Admiral Kang Deho still found the meetings amusing. The Consortium of Free Worlds, he announced to the assembled alien delegates, has agreed to establish the Terran Protectorate. Starting immediately, all member species are under human military protection, while keeping their own cultures and governments. Governor Claxton of the Corallian Empire raised a tentative appendage. Admiral Kang, our people are still having trouble understanding that we have been protectorates for centuries without knowing it. Think of it as a compliment, replied Dr. Park Minji cheerfully. We made you feel so safe that you never had to worry about the real threats. That is quality protection service. The integration had not been completely smooth. Captain Kim Soo-young, who was now serving as Director of Interspecies Intelligence, had spent months dealing with alien governments that were struggling to accept their new reality. Some species had initially tried to resist, until human advisors gently pointed out that their entire infrastructure had been built with human help. The Velthari were particularly stubborn, she reported to the council, until we demonstrated that their fortress worlds had been human-designed and could be shut down remotely. They became much more cooperative after that demonstration, but the real changes were happening beyond politics. Dr. Huang Minho now led the Combined Galactic Research Initiative, where human and alien scientists worked together on projects that had been impossible when humanity was supposedly contained. The IDA breakthrough in trans-dimensional travel came from combining human creative engineering with hive-mind computational processing, he explained to a joint research committee. We should have started working together centuries ago. We could have had this entire galaxy explored and secured by now. The research teams were making incredible discoveries. Human intuition combined with alien precision was solving problems that neither species could handle alone. The Velthari's energy manipulation abilities, when guided by human creativity, had led to completely new forms of faster-than-light travel. The Corallian mathematical precision, enhanced by human willingness to try impossible things, was unlocking the secrets of parallel dimensions. Commander Nayejin had been assigned to the new Deep Space Defense Force, where humans and aliens trained together to face the threats that lurked beyond the galactic rim. The first joint training exercises had been educational for everyone involved. The alien crews are learning our methods, she reported to Fleet Commander Cho Hyunwoo, though they are still having trouble with human tactical doctrine. Which part? Commander Cho asked with amusement. All of it. Apparently charging straight at incomprehensible cosmic horrors while laughing is not standard military procedure for most species. The training was producing interesting results. Alien crews were learning to adapt and improvise like humans, while human crews were learning the value of alien discipline and precision. The combination was creating military units more effective than anyone had thought possible. The most significant change, however, was in how the galaxy viewed humanity itself. General Li Jiwan, now serving as Supreme Military Commander of the Galactic Defense Force, addressed the Council on humanity's new role in galactic affairs. For 3,000 years, you feared us because you saw us as unpredictable and dangerous, she said, her voice carrying both authority and warmth. You are absolutely right, we are dangerous to the things that threaten this galaxy. We are unpredictable because we adapt and evolve faster than any enemy can plan for. These are not flaws to be contained. These are assets to be used. The galaxy was beginning to understand what this meant. Admiral Lee Sun-hee's deep space fleets were already engaging entities beyond the galactic border, now assisted by alien crews who brought their own unique abilities to the fight. The hive mind's computational power could predict enemy movements with incredible accuracy. The Velthari's energy manipulation could create weapons that bent the laws of physics. The Corallian tactical precision could coordinate attacks across multiple dimensions. All of these abilities were enhanced by humanity's greatest gift, the refusal to accept that anything was impossible. As the council session concluded, Dr. Park, Minji approached Admiral Kang. Do you think they have truly accepted the new reality? She asked. Admiral Kang watched as alien delegates mingled with human officers, discussing joint defense strategies and research initiatives. The fear was still there in some eyes, but it was now mixed with understanding and, surprisingly, gratitude. They are beginning to accept it, he replied. Though I think Councillor Zafon is still in denial. Indeed, the Velthari councillor could be heard muttering to himself. 3,000 years of containment protocols, and they were protecting us the entire time. How does one file a complaint about excessive competence? Captain Shin Dongwook overheard this and could not resist. Commenting, Sir, you could try submitting it to our Department of Galactic Relations. We have been handling your paperwork for centuries anyway. The changes were not just political or military. Throughout the galaxy, mixed crews of humans and aliens were working together on projects that would have been impossible before. Human colonies that had been hidden for centuries were now openly welcoming alien visitors. Alien worlds that had been isolated were now connected to a galaxy-wide network of trade, communication, and mutual defense. Children from different species were learning together in schools that taught both alien precision and human creativity. Scientists were making discoveries that combined the best of all galactic civilizations. Artists were creating works that no single species could have imagined, alone. As the delegates dispersed to their ships and homeworlds, the galaxy settled into its new normal. Humanity was no longer the contained threat at the edge of space. They were the guardians at the gates of reality, holding back nightmares that smaller minds could not even comprehend. And somewhere in the dark between galaxies, ancient entities that had been planning the slow consumption of organic life found their calculations suddenly, catastrophically wrong. The prey they had been stalking for millions of years now had guardians. Guardians who found cosmic horror hilarious and responded to existential threats with tactical innovation and inappropriate humor. The galaxy had never been safer. It had also never been more confused about how exactly that had happened. But across countless worlds, people of dozens of different species were sleeping peacefully, protected by humans who stood watch in the darkness and laughed at things that would drive other beings insane with fear. The age of human containment was over. The age of human protection had begun, and the universe would never be the same.